Good evening and welcome to KMTV. I'm Joshua Coop. Your top stories tonight. Suspected murder in Dartford. A 17-year-old's appeared in court. Kent schools tackle sexting. And a prankster tricks shoppers with fake cash in Ashford. Our top story this evening. A 17-year-old's been charged with murder after a man was killed in Dartford at the weekend. He appeared in court earlier. I have this update from outside Medway Magistrates. Well, yes, the 17-year-old's been held in police custody after an altercation at the house in Sackville Road on Saturday morning. During a brief hearing at Medway Magistrates Court today, the 17-year-old spoke only to confirm his name and address. Today he was taken into the care of the social services and will appear at Maidstone Crown Court on Wednesday. Now, children as young as 9 have been caught sexting in Kent. It's when indecent images and messages are exchanged using mobile phones and other messaging services. Louisa Britton has been to the Robert Napier School in Gillingham to find out how they're tackling the dangers at a young age.
Sexting is becoming more and more of an issue among young people. Sending an explicit picture of a child, even if the sender themselves is underage, is illegal and can lead to prosecution. But how are schools in Kent addressing these issues? Well, I'm at the Robert Napier School here in Gillingham, where they're tackling the issues surrounding underage sexting in a rather unique and unusual way. They're working closely with Kent Police to raise awareness of the dangers of sexting, and they're doing so by involving the pupils and through the means of drama.
Would you ever send me one?
No.
Why not?
Well, I just wouldn't. This play was devised by 16 to 18-year-olds at the Robert Napier School with the help of Kent Police. As well as exposing how peer pressure can affect their attitudes to sexting, it was designed to highlight how sending naked or semi-naked pictures could affect their lives as well as their peers.
It's very easy when, especially young people are watching performances, to switch off. If there's loads and loads of words in the performance, it's easy for them to just not listen. So we try and make our pieces as visual as possible. And have the educational element as well as that engagement with the audience as well.
This play was recorded and sent to other schools across Kent to raise further awareness, and the Robert Napier School also organises assemblies and talks about sexting as often as every 6 weeks.
Over the last few years, sexting has become a real problem with young people, so we've taken the stand that we need to make sure they're really, really well informed of the dangers. But I've got friends that work in primary schools, and we're very aware that they are also experiencing issues of sexting in the lower years there.
This year, Kent Police have recorded 57 underage sexting offences, and although the majority of the incidents happen with 13 to 14-year-olds, the youngest child involved was just 9 years old.
It shocks me that it's happening so young, but yeah, in the current climate, it's not surprising. As much as I'd like to think that any one of us could stand up and senior management can stand up and they can deliver the facts, they are going to listen much more, first of all, when it comes from their peers, and also when it's done in a performance style, because it's more engaging. And if we're not aware of it as adults, there's no way that the children are aware of it or would even consider that sending a couple of pictures, which they don't think is a big deal, oh, it's just like us being in our being in our swimwear, that could end up putting them on the sex offenders register if they share that with a friend.
When the repercussions can be as serious as criminal prosecution, it's vital children from a young age are given the information they need to understand the consequences their actions can have, especially as often the children commit the offence without even knowing they have. Louisa Britton, KMTV.
Tesco's removed 80,000 bottles of child medicine from its shelves after a Kent baby lost consciousness after taking a dose. The parents bought the junior ibuprofen at the supermarket in Larkfield. 4-month-old Jensen Petit had to be taken to Maidstone Hospital, where doctors worked on him for 45 minutes. Gulf Farm, the company that makes the drug, says they've tested the batch and can't find anything wrong with it. Tesco's has now withdrew the item from their stock, though. More than a tonne of rubbish has been dumped on a business park in Rochester. Staff on the Medway City estate discovered it when they turned up for work this morning. Medway Council has now cleared the waste, which is thought to have been left over the weekend. Employees couldn't believe their eyes when they saw that the huge pile had been dumped right outside their workplace. Business owner Steve Hills wasn't impressed.
Just can't believe it. Just how do people do that? It's a joke. We turned up, there it is. We've reported it to the police. We're just now waiting on what's going to happen. There could be asbestos for one. When you look at it, you know, it's just worrying. You know, if it goes on for much longer, you'll have serious loss of earnings. I mean, Cliff at this unit can't even work. It's a joke.
Storm Angus may have passed, but more extreme weather is on the way, with a warning issued for strong winds in Kent. Much of the county has been hit over the weekend. Here's footage of the RNLI battling the storm in Dover. Gusts of up to 80 miles per hour are expected to move through the southeast overnight and into tomorrow morning, bringing the risk of damage to trees and travel disruption. There's also a danger of large waves crashing onto seafronts. A group of homeless people have been evicted from Woodland, where they'd set up camp. Bailiffs and workmen arrived at the site behind trees off Marlborough Road and Brompton Road in Gillingham this morning. There were thought to be around 5 people still living inside the camp, but they had left before the bailiffs moved in. The site's now been made secure, and anyone who's been caught in the area could face being arrested. And finally, a man in Ashford has fooled shoppers after throwing £1,500 of fake banknotes from a rooftop. The man is heard shouting Merry Christmas whilst throwing the wad of cash from the top of a shopping centre in the town. The anonymous trickster, dubbed Mr Nice, launched the £10 notes off the rooftop on Saturday morning. Even his friend, who filmed the stunt, thought it was real. Some people really are just evil. And just before we go, make sure you watch out for our latest episode of Team Talk this evening. On tonight's programme, the lads have a game of table tennis with Paralympic medalists Will Bailey and Ross Wilson. You can see it on kmtv.co.uk or on our Facebook page. Well, that's all from us for this evening. We'll be back again tomorrow with all the latest stories from across your county. In the meantime, don't forget you can always keep up to date by listening to KMFM or logging on to kentonline.co.uk. Whatever you're up to, have a lovely evening. Good night.